Welcome back to Louisiana Football TV Magazine. I just found out something right before we came on air. I mean, 2 seconds. Jimmy Lear helped coach Weldy Moore at Bel Air, right?
That's correct.
Bel Air High School, who to me is having a super season as a Pittsburgh Steelers player who wasn't supposed to even be on the team. With injuries, is now carrying the load. And they've only lost 1 game with him starting. I think he might sign a big contract, huh, Jim?
Well, you know, when Weldy came to Bel Air as a freshman, he came in during the summer, and I said, well, if you want to play, he said, I can go here or I can go somewhere else. I said, well, if you want to play right away, you come here, because I can't tell you you're going to start, because I'm not the head coach, but you're going to play a lot. And we were fortunate. He came on, he played a lot as a freshman as a receiver, DB. Next year, he became a receiver, running back, and from there on, he just took off.
Well, and he's not a big guy. You know, kids that are watching and parents think you have to be big to go D1. Now, as a skill guy, you don't have to be tall.
Exactly.
As a D lineman, they want you 6 foot up. But, you know, you had a quarterback, speaking of guys that wasn't very tall, but Brian Mitchell, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever come out of high school football in Plaquemine, and USL Raging Cajuns, which is now ULL, but you coached him. He went to USL, and you had told me it was very close to whether Hodson went to LSU or not, or Brian Mitchell to LSU.
Exactly. And Jimmy has heard me talk about Brian Mitchell, which he's a legend in this state. And of course, we went 10-0 with him at Plaquemine and had 4 straight winning seasons with him at USL or ULL now. But he and Hodson both came out the same year, and I think LSU wanted Brian to maybe look at playing defensive back, and his dream had always been to play quarterback. And so he had a choice of going to Arkansas, Oklahoma, and he went to ULL. And one of the main reasons is academics. They gave him an academic scholarship to go along with playing, and of course he rewrote the record book. We had 4 straight winning seasons, and he spent 14 years in the NFL. But in all my years of coaching, there's never been anything like Brian Mitchell. He's head and shoulders. He was sports writer, selected by the sports writer as player of the year twice in his 4-year career at USL, and he's always given back. You know, at Plaquemine, USL, he gives back, and so he just turned out to be a great athlete and a great player.
And Coach, like you were saying, Canton, Ohio might be in the future for him. He holds many records, punt and kick returns.
He's definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame. I just hope I live long enough to be able to get up there and see him when he's inducted. But he was a great one, and won the Super Bowl. And actually on Monday Night Football, when he was a rookie, led him down for a winning drive on Monday Night Football. And of course, after that, he never played quarterback anymore, but he's one of the greatest.
Now, you started high school coaching in 1971, right?
71.
It seems like it was just a...
Seems like it was yesterday.
Yesterday, huh? And Plaquemine, 2 stints. I mean, you were at Plaquemine the first time. Y'all had several district
The first time I was there was 79 through 85, and we won the district championship 5 out of 7 years and had 2 10-0 seasons and some great players, and was gone 12 years and came back, and we won it 3 years in a row, had 2 more 10-0 seasons, and so still live in Plaquemine and have a lot of friends there, and you know, have some of my former players. It's just a great community, and it was a pleasure to coach there.
Well, I'm still glad that you are coaching. I mean, I love the old school coaches, because I went to practice, and Coach will tell you, I show up at practices, and I don't call, I just go. And you got to go to know what you're doing. You know, you got to go see things. And I love a coach that's intense, and you can feel him that he says, you know, get out of my way in a nice way, as a respectful way. And I admire how intense you are coaching these kids and developing young men, and coming in and seeing Jimmy and the other coaches. You have a staff of a lot of former head coaches.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm very fortunate to have Jimmy, who's been a head coach, and Ron Turpin was head coach at Baker, and Gary Burnett has been a head coach for Glen Oaks, and Glenn Lee's been a head coach, and I have some young coaches, Kevin Shake Snyder and Jeremy Laughlin, and Eddie Pleasant. Just a great staff, great people to work with, and And of course, you know, Jimmy's been there the longest. He was there before I got there, and Coach Turpin. But we love Woodlawn High School, and got a great bunch of guys to work with, players, and it's a great school to be at.
Well, Don, I know you know Don Shells. I mean, it's Don and Don, and you're from North Louisiana. But
Right.
You remind me a little bit of Don Shells, a little
I
bit.
wish I had
Yeah.
Don's money and his winning
Right.
record up
But he's
there.
a little more intense on the air now. He's still at the game on the air. You know,
Right.
he's still wanting to play football. But
Well, I'll mail it over the
yeah,
years.
But I did that saying that as respect, because a guy that's out there tough on these kids, and y'all would say this, that's the only way to be. You got to mold these kids, right, Jimmy? I mean,
Well, yeah, you agree. You gotta love them. But
Football's
you gotta,
not easy.
You got to get in their face and talk to them. Kind of rough sometimes, but you also got to know you love them and
Right.
care for them. But yeah, sometimes that's all they understand.
right, and it makes them better people. Like, I played high school football, and if you know, that's the greatest thing that I ever did. Was
Since I've
play.
had Jimmy and the other coaches, I never have to raise my voice anymore.
There
I'm
you
just
go.
mild. And,
We got a caller on line one. Robert, do you have a question for Coach Don Jones or Coach Jimmy Lear? Robert, what's your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead with your
Yes, sir.
question. Okay.
Hello. How do you think Woodlawn will match up against Scotlandville athleticism after Scotlandville has come off a key victory over Central that was previously 6-0?
Right. Yeah, they beat an undefeated Central who was really 7-0 with the Jamboree. But Jimmy and Coach Jones, Scotlandville's very talented, very fast, very big. Your team with Jordell McCoy and your players, how does that match up?
Every game we played this year, we've had a chance to win, and Catholic High, we always play Catholic. It's kind of a rival game, and Scotlandville is kind of a rival game. Our guys, as soon as we got there yesterday, they know each other, and you know, our guys talk a lot. They talk a lot. It's a fun game. They do have a great football team this year. They have so much speed and talent, and I think, as Jimmy and I were talking a while ago, they're huge.
Is this a travel game or home game?
We go to
them.
Scotlandville.
It's a travel
we
game.
know they're really pumped up after last week, and they should be. That's
Right.
great. But we're looking forward to playing against them.
Jimmy,
it's gonna be a good football
your
game.
thoughts on Jordell McCoy?
One of the best athletes I've ever coached. It's my 28th year in coaching. Been real fortunate, and he matches up with a young man I coached at White Castle, Chris Williams, and just talented. Played with his uncle Calvin Fabron at Southeastern, who was All-American and is no longer with us. But Jardell comes from that family, and just outstanding young man.
Plays every position just about.
In every
Quarterback,
play, never comes
DB,
off the field.
Special teams.
Everything.
Can
And never
run.
says a word.
Should be getting a bunch of D1 offers, right? I mean,
He's going to have an opportunity to play at a lot of different places. And, you know, the same thing with Jared Hardnett, our defensive end, and Winston Burnett, who's 6'3", our free safety. Great young men, work hard.
we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with our final segment, wrap things up, talk a little bit more about Woodlawn High School, talk about the school and what it's like to have it's only 5 years old, correct? And 6 years old. And we'll talk about some of the other players on the team, Jared Hardnett and some of the other players on the team when we come back on Louisiana Football TV Magazine.